afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today our 1 vs 1 on Semois. It is daytime Semois. Obviously, this is a more custom match. This is from the GameReplays.org tournament, which is also apparently running right now. In fact, I kind of missed that bit until it was rather in front of my eyes. Nonetheless, some rather interesting fights, quite a lot of players going in for that, and of course don't forget there is TourneyofMacaroni's Sunday night fights, which will be happening tonight with a great matchup between DevM and Aimstrong. In the meanwhile, we shall be watching TourneyofMacaronni fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 4th Infantry in a brutal grudge match against WMDsandland, rolling out for the 2nd SS Panzer Division, das Reich. Pioneers are heading left, Pioneers heading right. Rather standard start, Volksgrenadiers and the standard start, but not the standard capping order. In fact, note here, again, there are some players who seem to ignore this, others, but rather note here again, TourneyofMacaronni is heading straight for the victory point and the high munitions. So, clearly this is a more aggressive, bold forward strategy, and also one that's clearly going to be involving some munitions of a larger quantity. In the meanwhile, we are, of course, seeing the more conservative. At the same time, of course, there's also the bit that it rather lends itself to take this one easier than this one, because, again, for some reason, the road stops there, whereas here, it continues. And again, it's really weird, because if you also note here, there's actually a heavy machine gun emplacement specifically set up to cover this point, so, something's weird. Anyways, we're seeing some Pioneers heading out. In den Armes des Vaterlandes. Bike moving out. Pioneers moving out, taking close to the fences. Bike charging up, probably there for initial reconnaissance. And of course, also that, which I rather like to do with a Schwimmwagen, initial support for the Volksgrenadier, since of course that MG mounted on it is actually reasonably effective. Now go Rifle caught out in negative cover already there. Bullets are sipping and hitting. Some poor bastard. The bike, though, quickly moves away, having already there disrupted Tourney-of-Macaroni a bit. And again, initial game disruption can really, mess up some players, because again, they're rather, okay, we do things like this, and this. Someone throws a jeep or a bike at them, and they're, bloody hell, what's that? That's not cricket. That's just not cricket, I believe the word saying goes. MG42, though, following up on the bike. Point secured over there. Sandland playing also a bit slightly differently. It's not uncommon again to see a bike or a Schwimmwagen following up the Volksgrenadiers. Again, it's largely what I do. But clearly he's doing it a bit differently than I do, of course, which is good. Again, one of the reasons I also try to show varied games is there's many different ways of playing Counter Heroes. And I'm sort of hoping people sort of find the way that works for them, because some players work great with this sort of start, some players have much better success with the other type of start. It sort of fits in with temperament and, well, how you approach issues. We are seeing another Volksgrenadier squad out. We're seeing the MG42 up here. He's obviously expecting someone to go for the fuel point, so he's leaving it right there. And in the meanwhile, we are seeing the Volksgrenadiers and Pioneers and the bike fighting against a rifleman, moving through the streets of the village. The riflemen find themselves under fire by some trough, hoping they might find some sandwiches in there, but sadly no. They had heard great tales about what the French feed their pigs. They were found out they were lies. Riflemen though are under fire. They're pulling up behind an old truck, and already there one goes down. The bike scores a kill. First blood for the fatherland. Another one quickly down. The Pioneer doing quite nicely in the building. Volksgrenadier is blocking the way, and there we go. Rifleman forced to wait. Very low health. Down to 4 man. They will need a trio center before they can really become combat effective. Volksgrenadier though getting caught right here by the initial choke point. Volksgrenadier here could quickly hold up by the heavy carbon. There we go. Pioneers need to stick close as well. Bike opening up. Rifleman pulling up. Chaos everywhere. Rifleman pushing up. Bike needs to get away. BMW bike not doing too well. Oh, it could go down. It could go down. Oh, it escapes with a sliver of health. The bike makes it out there. Oh, the engineers! The engineers! No, the Pioneers need to repair it! Volksgrenadiers managed to fight their way back to their comrades, and the bike manages to get repaired. Rather tense fighting right here. The riflemen are taking a bit of a beating, but at the same time, he really was close to getting to the foot of Sandland, and certainly some very expert maneuvering by him to sort of avoid this becoming into some sort of disaster. In particular, since he rather had the Volksgrenadiers split up, that really could have ended up badly for Sandland. I'm surprised it didn't. Mining down there, but the engineers do get spotted. The bike moves in, and the engineers do get run off. Riflemen running around, legging it up behind fences, going for the cut-offs there, going for harassment. At the same time, Sandland is also harassing. Bike and bike and Pioneers getting spotted by a Rifleman squad, but we do see a Flammenwerfer getting equipped. At the same time, further fighting goes on here. MG42 pops into the building. The Rifleman pops out of the other one, legs it, but one gets cut down before he manages to round the corner. And the Riflemen up here are still being held up by a single, very minute force, but there we go, Pioneer down. Trying to burn the Rifleman behind the wooden fence. Need to get out of there. We could see a Pioneer squad lost. No, looks like he makes it out of there, and not a single American lost. And there we go, the Riflemen are getting evicted from the center. The Pioneers over here that are getting battered and beaten, and we're seeing a sniper out. So this is the two full screen sniper MG start with a bike in it, which is a slight modification that basically allows you to better sort of ensure you don't get flanked. The major problem with this sort of strategy is, of course, is you can rather risk you can't actually cover everything, because again you have precious little infantry and not enough MGs to cover the flanks either. So if you sort of get spread out, which can easily happen, you're actually in trouble. It's rather one sort of focus towards really doing a lot of damage to the Americans at a reasonable cost without sort of investing too heavily into the first tier. And obviously, I mean, you rather need to get to the next one quickly without suffering too greatly. I mean, right now, Sandland, though, is spreading his troops out too far. I mean, Volkswagen squad here, Volkswagen squad here. And the only one that's really supported is the one in the north with the Pioneers. The sniper and the bike. The other one is considerably much more alone. All alone in the farmlands. Of course, there are forces waiting to leap upon them. Of course, in that case, the Volkswagen could be in a lot of trouble. And there's a mine there. I mean, there's really a lot of problems here. But again, nice mining. Oh, this could actually end up problematic for Sandland. Oh, no, Oh, Volkswagen squad went down to the mine. This is absolutely catastrophic. And that's pretty much just leveled a lot of pressure against Sandland even further, as he's just gotten very little force now to actually hold up the front. At the same time, we are seeing TourneyofMacaronni setting up for an armoured car. Wiring going up a bit here and there, but clearly, I mean, Sandland is way too spread out now. Mines going down there, lovely job. Going for the harassment there, but the bike actually forces them away. But very closely though it wasn't. Sniper supporting, which means the center is basically being held up by a single squad of Volksgrenadiers, wishing they were somewhere else, like Denmark, as it was apparently known as the Butterfront. That's being basically very, very cozy with lots of good food. Anyways, Volksgrenadiers are pulling away as the Riflemen and Engineers are pushing in. The men of the 2nd SS. Clearly these are not the best of the recruits. Though the SS did have a tendency of actually being quite good at getting any sort of recruits turned into proper soldiers. In one case, the 1st SS, after having, had to be reformed, or well, rebuilt in Normandy, well, France, after heavy fighting on the Eastern Front, was given a lot of Luftwaffe recruits, usually not the sort of most impressive thing, but nonetheless, by the time of Normandy, they were pretty much tough SS soldiers. So, I mean, they did have a knack, and again, that's also partly due to the whole system the Germans had for handling replacements and getting them sort of worked into a division, which was a bit unique. And here we already see Sandland is another problem. He's not got a pack yet. And there's an armoured car. He's got Panzerfaust at the moment to handle him. He's not even got a Panzerschreck. Of course, he's got the village, which is sort of his advantage, as it's harder for the Greyhound to sort of really get any sort of manoeuvring about, and he's sort of hoping he can hold it back. And again, it's also going to mean he can't really dash about much without risking a Panzerfaust. Slight advantage right there to Sandland in that sense, but I mean, he can't knock it out and he can't really damage it. He certainly can't get close without getting not just subjected to the 37mm gun, but also the 50 caliber machine gun. And again, yes, about the whole replacement system. I mean, most German divisions had a replacement and training battalion, which basically meant that instead of just putting the recruits, well, whoever got into the front line, they were usually sent through this battalion, which usually had some divisional veterans to sort of teach them and sort of give them some more experience, or pass on the experience, before they were then sort of sent into frontline duties. And again, it tended to mean that Germans partly also had, of course, a large reserve to draw upon even for the division, but of course also meant that recruits were going to be handling things a bit better. instead of just being thrust into the fight. Greyhound, though, managed to escape again, going for the fuel point. Really aggressive harassment by TourneyofMacaronni. Mining as well. Good job, veteran job for Sandland. Of course, TourneyofMacaronni could also consider... Oh, actually, time to overload him. But he could consider getting a medic station up to sort of help with losses in the longer run. Keep up momentum and such. MG hold up there. Sandland still a bit spread out, but at least he's got some grenadiers at the front lines. Sniper quickly moving up. MG firing away at the rifleman. MG 42 versus a few rifles. And of course the sniper adding in. The sniper barrage, they're giving the Germans some help in actually digging Americans out of houses. Of course that's also a reason why you might want to get snipers. Why some like this, because again it also means that if an American actually garrisons himself, he's not going to be such a problem. Rifleman moving up here against the Grenadiers, getting gunned down a bit though. Several riflemen going down. Grenadier also lost. But overwhelmingly major casualties for the Americans in that engagement. And TourneyofMacaronni is forced to run. Pack moving up. Sandland apparently only sticking to one. Greyhound repaired. Center being sort of helped by the Americans. But again, majority map control currently to TourneyofMacaronni. Sort of usual start with the rifleman and going for an armoured car. Using the armoured car to harass. Constantly moves it about. Again, really good usage of that. He's not just trying to use it as a tank in just one spot. He's actually shifting up to sort of keep Sandland guessing with his anti-tank weaponry, or force him to get more anti-tank guns. So in that way, that is nice usage. Of course, in this center, again, he has to be careful because this is not armored car country. This is very narrow streets. Well, armored cars can't really crash through walls. So in that sense, it can easily find himself in trouble. And so, if you're using any armored cars right here, you have to be careful. They can easily end up in trouble. So again, you know, mind the terrain. But looks like he's moving on. He's going to get a sniper of his own, I wager. By the looks of things. 3 command points. This would be a good time to actually spend the command points. Because again, after 3 command points, point acquisition goes much slower. And there we go, infantry and artillery. So we're seeing infantry doctrine with a howitzer barrage being made ready. Veteran D2 up for Sandland's infantry. Making them a bit tougher. Some pioneers sneaking westwards. Not much else going on there at the moment. Pack hiding. Oh, mine goes off, blowing apart several members of the squad, including apparently the squad leader, could it look like? And Heinz is a bit depressed about it, probably also losing his innards. No medic bunker though for Sandland, that would also be nice. Goes both ways, obviously. Medic station would be nice for the Americans. Engineers and the Americans getting ready here for some sort of assault. Alright, you move on the flank. No, you move. No, I'm the sergeant. Oh. Bike moving about, doing a bit of patrolling, of course, spotting what's going on here. And of course, in Company 2, it won't quite work like that. So, of course, you can't see through buildings there. You can't in Company Heroes 1. Now, go rifle engineers moving up. No flamethrowers though for the engineers. That might have helped, but of course, he's saving munitions for it. Of course, you could also then consider getting an observation post up right here. That could work. Nonetheless, the assault carries on. Grenade goes off. Grenadiers retreating. Mine goes off. Stopping the assault right in the center. And we're seeing another force moving up here. Hitting a mine as well. Stopping. And another force leveling up here. I mean, clearly, TourneyofMacaronni is hoping to hit from as many sides as possible. I mean, that's great American play. He's not just trying to hit one spot. He's trying to hit as many spots as possible. And I mean, considering the current force composition for Sandland, that's actually going to be nice because it means Sandland can't cover everything, and there's going to be a chance of somewhere that TourneyofMacaronni sneaks in. Of course, he's a bit in trouble there. He needs to keep this part of the assault moving very quickly. Artillery going in. Pioneers up here in trouble. He could move the armor car. And artillery now against the MG. Excellent. Removing part. Right in here, though. Squad down for TourneyofMacaronni, though that's actually going to hurt him. But he's managed to cause a bit of disruption right here. There's the sniper, though. Greyhound could move in. And the rest of the forces also moving in. Sniper arriving. Macaroni should consider some more riflemen. Engineers getting shot at. Flamethrowers burning away from the building. Hoping they don't light the curtains on fire as well. Particularly since Helmut's wife has been constantly nagging him about some nice curtains to bring home from France. Oh, moves up there and immediately gets blasted by something. I'm actually... What did kill that pioneer?
What's our plan?
Must have been some sort of weird thing with the game's rules. Because it sort of appeared like the shot came from there. It is the invisible ghost greyhound. Haunted and haunting the battlefields of France. Right here, they're getting blasted, grenaded. Heavy losses. Oh, mine goes off! So close to getting murdered. The Grenadiers, though, getting suppressed. And of course, one thing to remember about Veterans 2 for Grenadiers, besides giving them elite armor also makes them easier to suppress. Which actually means the Greyhound, for example, with a 50 caliber can actually easier suppress them. So again, that's something to remember. Again, not something everyone considers, but it's true. Bob moving in. Volkskriegs moving up here, sticking to the ditch and the wooden fence. Firing away. Squad leader trying to remind them this is just like a shooting gallery, in the hopes that might improve accuracy. Bob moving in. Armored car getting a drop on the pack, perhaps. Rifle as well. Ooh, we could see the pack decrewed. Panzer still on the Greyhound, connecting. And the pack misses. A daring raid, and the oh dear. Did he actually get Sandland sniper? Nope, he didn't, which actually means now Sandland, of course, knows he has a sniper. Of course, he might not care. Again, this could just be part of a larger mind game, which of course basically Sandland then also, of course, has to now use his sniper more carefully. It can sort of work both ways. But obviously looking forward to Communist 2, where again snipers can't just move about cloaked in the open. They will have to stick to cover. Mines going down there in the town centre, though. Lovely. Nice to see. Could also be nice with a bit of barbed wire, perhaps some tank traps, sandbags. Everything that makes it a bit harder for the Germans to attack. Riflemen reinforcing, healing up. He could do with more. He's actually got quite a bit of resources floating about. Germans lying in wait behind the bushes. Yeah, we look like a bush. Yeah, Helmut? Nein, you look like a sauerkraut. Da. Anyways, Grenadiers moving up into the center. Not a lot of support. Fraps, stabilize, please.
A victory point. We are losing a victory point.
Come on. There we go. I thought. More sniper fire. And there we go. Ow, come on. Come on, Fraps, stabilize, please. There we go. Hate it when it does that. Ever so frustrating. I suspect it's something to do with the hard drive just having some spots not so good for recording on, which he just randomly finds. Anyways, engineers here coming right into an MG42. Volkskriegs add a bit there. A larger German force now, several Grenadiers holding up the centre. In fact, we're seeing 3 squads of Grenadiers. That's actually quite a bit of infantry. Sandland so far remaining in Tier 2, and we are seeing a Stu 42 called in from some Stuka brigade. Or battalion, more likely an independent unit attached, which rather had the Stu 42s usually and regular Panzer Division, and for that matter their Stu battalions would not have a Stu 42. They were much more independent assets deployed wherever the Corps thought they would do their best, alongside other Stuks, that is. And usually there was sort of a configuration of 3 Stuks and a Stu 42. With the Stuks initially, if there were any tanks and infantry, one would focus on the tanks, that is the Stuks, while the Stu 42 dealt with the infantry, and then of course they could focus on whatever was left. So just some thoughts there. Though I do believe in the Stu 42 actually also had anti-tank rounds. And as we're seeing a assault going in here by the armor cars, engineers and flamethrowers. Spear yards now up for him, and sticky bombs as well. Sniper fire. Grenadiers getting hunted back. Stu 42 a bit on its own, exposing the 2 snipers out for TourneyofMacaronni, by the way. Really increasing the pressure on the German Grenadiers by constantly sniping them out. Really nasty stuff. Anti-tanking out, and the snipers are retreating in the face of the Sturmhaubitze, which will probably not be seen in Communist 2 since there's the Sturmpanzer 4, which was rather a, what shall we call it, further development of the Sturmhaubitze concept. more heavily armored, and an even bigger gun. More specifically, a 15mm gun. Well, 15 centimeter actually, not millimeters. Stu 40 on the run. Grenadiers a bit spread out, probably trying to provide some cover for the Stu, but they could find themselves in a lot of trouble. With the Riflemen actually moving on after the Stu. Only now do they react to the Grenadiers, having lost 2 men. And the Stu 42 charges through the cemetery, knocking over statues and gravestones. And again, TourneyofMacaronni going for the fuel. But these Riflemen are in an absolutely appalling state. It could actually be swiftly dead. Oh, the bike could actually kill them. No, they do manage to run by the looks of things, but that was bloody close. And let's go a look at Sandland again. Now adding in some stormtroopers. Equipping them with the Sturmgewehr, so it's also going to tier 3. I mean, you can't actually equip your assault rifles or LMGs for that matter to Grenadiers or Stormtroopers without having reached the 3rd tier. The assault phase. And of course, the question could be, why is he doing this? Chances are he's probably doing it to sort of sneak them in on the sniper team and basically sort them out. Greyhound doing a bit of work here. Ooh, we could see a Grenadier squad go down for Sandland and the 2nd SS. Das Reich, one of the older of the two sort of initial. And of course, one thing to remember, they did not start out as fully panzer divisions, but actually initially as a panzer, sort of a motorized regiment. They were then expanded into a division, then it became a panzer grenadier division, and then later on finally a panzer division. Grenadiers here, though, in trouble, and we could see them go down. The Greyhound, though, was actually damaged. Apparently Sandland was actually expecting this to hammer in there and mine there. That's actually pretty interesting. Some rather fun appreciations of how Americans actually charge into northern Semois and actually mine according to it, instead of not here where a lot of players would expect it, but right next to the bunker. And there's another mine. He was really expecting this. I mean, goodness gracious, that's... And the pack didn't do it. I mean, that was mines. That was Sandland expecting TourneyofMacaronni to charge in there. That's something. That's not pretty often I see that. That's actually the first time. I mean, I've thought about something similar, but I mean, now we've actually seen it in action by Sandland. Impressive. We're also seeing now a howitzer up for TourneyofMacaronni. 105mm howitzer. We'll probably also be seeing some howitzers incoming too, although apparently the Soviets will be getting the 155mm howitzer. The Germans, by the looks of it, will be getting the leichte Feldhaubitzer 18, or 105mm howitzer. Stu gets off a nice hit, direct hit by the howitzer on the Stu. By the howitzer, looking very dangerous. Pioneers retreating. Ground and road getting churned up, ruined. And also note, I mean, craters provide cover, but they also make it harder for units to move through, including vehicles. I mean, obviously, right here, this is not going to be so great territory for Sandland to move. And another hit on the Stu 42. Sandland was a bit too impatient. Direct hit on the cafe. Snipers moving up. Grenadiers holding up behind the pack. No, that's actually false Grenadiers. That's even less well. But we are seeing a Grenadier assault going into the town. Suppressor fire from the Rifleman quickly stops one squad in its tracks. Snipers gets off a few good shots, and the Stormtroopers move in for the kill. Sturmgewehr's quickly sorting out one sniper. Will they get the second one? And yes, running past though. Could be a target. Oh, they get both snipers. And an engineer squad down. American unit destroyed. Jolly good job here by the Stormtroopers. Elite veterans from Eastern Front, possibly even France. And the way they certainly did their job. Really gutted TourneyofMacaronni there, partly because TourneyofMacaronni is at the moment lacking a lot of infantry. He has not been replacing his infantry, of course, which rather means that, well, the snipers were considerably exposed once, well, you know, things went wrong. Which again also reminds you, always have enough infantry. In particular for the Americans. Oh, nice hit right there, just blowing up there. Looks nice, but of course had no effect. But as the Americans, the bare minimum should always be 3 Rifleman squads. I mean, any less and you really end up not really putting yourself in a good position towards the German player. And currently, TourneyofMacaronni has very little infantry left. In fact, he's now getting more snipers, but again, can he protect them? He's up against, well, Never mind, he's actually done a lot of damage to the Germans, but still, they've actually got more infantry. They've got stormtroopers with assault rifles, they've got grenadiers, Volksgrenadiers, and some other bits. Riflemen laying down mines, stormtroopers moving up, second assault rifle package being handed out. Tank depot going up. Hiccups. Ever lovely. Rifleman anti-tanker moving towards the center. And there we go. Assault rifles. And a Panzer command. My goodness, I completely missed that. Panzer 4 on the way. And Knights cross the Ritterkreuzträger. Stormtroopers continue to sneak about. And there we go. The assault is launched. And the riflemen are absolutely bollocksed. Things quickly go tits up as Lank and Harry go down to well-aimed assault rifle fire. And the last one pulls to Forrest Gump. As I'm now sticking to calling it whenever someone gets away with barely any health while getting shot at. And there we go, Panzerkampfwagen 4 rolling up. No veterancy for his Panzers though. There we go. Panzerkampfwagen 4, stable of the Panzer divisions. And what some Panzer division actually only had as Panzers in Normandy. Even some of the SS Panzer divisions actually didn't get Panthers. There we go, Stormtroopers going straight at it. TourneyofMacaroni's men getting caught out in the open. Mine goes off though by the looks of it. And a rifleman squad did not make it out of it, in fact dropping a Browning automatic. Mine goes off though, killing a Stormtrooper. I wonder where that artillery went off. That was weird. I actually missed an artillery barrage. That's... I suppose it must have gone on there. Bloody hell. Also, a quick note, I've actually got a Facebook page now. Link is in the description. So feel free to check up, because apparently people have been asking me to create one, so I finally got around to it. And looks like Sandland is basically just knocking out the church. Volksgrenadiers with a Browning automatic. I'm feeling a bit impressive now that he's got a light machine gun, although it was technically... Oh! And never mind! Direct hit kills them all. Sherman out. A bit of armor being sent in to support the 4th Infantry, possibly from an independent tank brigade, which was... or battalion actually, since that was something the Americans actually worked with. Them and the Soviets, besides having armored divisions, they also had more independent tank units to sort of be attached wherever they were. The Germans as such never really operated with the same concept. And Ritterkreuz coming under direct fire from the Sherman. Panzer 242 moving up, Panzer 4 moving in. Anti-tanker nearby, sniper as well. But absolutely necessary that TourneyofMacaronni gets some more riflemen. At least he should have had a medic station up. I mean, he's absolutely gutted. Again, it's partly due to the fact he's never really been replacing his riflemen, placing further and further pressure on the few remaining ones. And looks like Sandland will soon be able to call in a Tiger from some SS Schwerer Panzerabteilung. I believe 2 of those fought in Normandy. And in fact, the SS Panzer divisions, or was it or the Panzer Grenadiers, actually initially, when the Tigers came out, actually got their own Tiger company. Those were later then removed and made into full independent Schwerer Panzerabteilungs. But fun little fact, they did for a very brief period have their own Tiger tanks. And some of them actually tried to sort of retain it for a bit, but I know they probably couldn't last forever. Artillery going in, direct hit on the Stu 42. Pioneers could also be in trouble, and a hit on the Panzer 4. Anti-tank gun opens up, no armor pitching grounds by the looks of it. Oh, Panzer 4 makes a turn, but anti-tank gun rather luckily misses. Rifleman getting stopped by the MG42 down south. Apparently more rifleman has been trained now for TourneyofMacaronni. But again, very minor forces left. Grenadiers now equipped with Panzer 6. And artillery getting called in right on the Pack and Panzer position. And a direct hit on the Panzer 4. Pack getting sniped. Excellently timed assault right there by TourneyofMacaronni. Pack, they managed to escape. All the riflemen will try and flush it out. Panzer IV, die need repairs. More grenadiers on the way for Sandland. Might have perhaps thought panzers or some more Ritterkreuzträger. But he apparently feels he's got enough assault rifles. And there we go, Pack getting hunted down. Will it escape? The wrath of the Yankees. Knight's Cross and the Panzer IV, though, quickly move into intercept. And the anti-tank gun rather barely escapes. Sherman moves up to deal with the Stu 42. Sniper moves up, Knight's Cross and Rifleman retreating another squad of grenadiers. Sherman with the damaged engine. Rifleman down. Mine's there. This one is yet to be detonated.
Squad ready to lead the attack.
And there we go. Grenadiers moving in. The stormtroopers once more hiding. Sniper fire. Riflemen a bit buggered. There we go, stormtroopers getting the jump. Grenades being lobbed at libitum at the anti-tank gun. And the artillery once more fires. Rather sadly hits nothing. And sniper getting hunted down. Oh dear. Panzer IV in a somewhat combat-ready state. TourneyofMacaronni, though, in an awful lot of trouble. Clearly spreading out in the hopes of perhaps catching the sniper, but the sniper's already running, and he's running far and wide. Clearly intent on not getting killed, and looks like Sandland's actually might have added in another anti-tank gun, perhaps.
We're losing ground out there.
Panzer IV advances, wrecking the American anti-tank gun. No off-map combat groups yet for TourneyofMacaronni. Reich using a bike out, probably just for the specific purpose of dealing with that Yank.
Supply lines are broken. We have territory cut off from supply. Supply lines are broken. We have territory cut
Chaos
off.
usually patrolling. Perhaps a bit casually as well.
I am a rock.
We're losing ground out there.
And there we go, sniper spotted, and he is far behind enemy lines. So he's likely not to make it, in particular since there's a few Knight's Cross waiting.
One of our snipers is killed.
Not the nicest welcome committee, I fear, for the sniper. Sherman still not repaired. Pack's waiting. Artillery called in. Oh! Direct hit. And he's firing directly here. I'm wondering what he's hoping to catch. Perhaps the Pack, but... And he does get the Pack. At the same time, a small armoured force lining up there, but without infantry support. In the meanwhile, most of the infantry's up here, but without any anti-tank support. Except that one Pack, which could get cleared out, I suppose. TourneyofMacaronni getting another sniper. Those look like to replace some or all his infantry. Another squad sneaks in there in the wake of the artillery barrage. Sneaking through the dust and smoke knocked up from the howitzers. Going in for the victory point, perhaps. And ambushing a few pioneers moving in, and nicely done there.
Front shifted.
Pack creeping up. One of the howitzers will be ready to clear out the Pack. Grenadiers, though, taking heavy losses. Rifle getting assaulted. Will there be suppressive fire? That could stop the Knight's Cross, but it's already too late there. Yeah, there we go. No, the riflemen were not fast enough. Stu 42 moving up, clearing out the engineers, repairing the tank. In the meanwhile, again, rather safe right-hand side. We're seeing the MG and the stormtroopers moving in. And now the full might of the Panzerwaffe moves in. In the meanwhile, forces move in from the north, probably going to try and sticky bomb the Panzer IV. And TourneyofMacaronni might now be putting all his hopes on an off-map combat group, providing him with some serious infantry and tank destroy action. Wagner getting blasted into the ground. Knight's Cross exchanging fire across the river. In the meanwhile, the fight continues up here. A unit went down, actually, for Sandland. Sniper actually has caused some casualties already. But he needs to be careful. Lots of unfriendly Germans are moving in. And there we go. Dead. Bit tragic. And the Sherman is buggered. We're seeing rather dangerously close artillery. Sherman is, well, doomed. And there we go. Cooked. Brewed up. And the riflemen are still being held down there. Finally forced away by rather intense automatic fire from the Germans. And looks like the 4th Infantry has been broken.
Battalion reinforcements.
And there we go, the off-map combat group, desperately hoping that something will save the day. Oh, Tiger came, but it hit a mine. It hit a mine. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's speed things up a bit. And there we go, off-map combat group. Armored car, Rangers, rifle, anti-tank gun. If he'd gotten a tank destroyer, it might have looked alright, but yeah, I don't think he's going to make it. Tanks are advancing, going to hunt down the Greyhound. In the meanwhile, the Tiger lines up and opens up on the advancing Americans. Veterans 2 up, by the way, now, giving machine guns a bit of health, and also buffs up the Tiger tank a bit. Under heavy direct fire from the anti-tank gun. Tiger not doing so much yet. Grenadiers following up. Machine gun emplacement, by the way, there is gone. Opening up for infantry to actually follow in. Oh, nice hit by the bazookas on the side, but a nice hit from the Tiger in return. Obliterating numerous Americans. The Rangers are already down to 2 men. And the Tigers actually suffered quite heavily, and artillery going in. A rather desperate counterattack by the Americans in the hopes of knocking out the mighty Tiger. But in the meanwhile, the riflemen get
Base is under attack.
murdered, for lack of better words, as the Panzers then proceed to hit the other side, but a mine at the entrance, and he was probably actually... Now let's just finish. I can actually explain it there, but we are now seeing the Hounds getting assaulted. And GG from TourneyofMacaronni, GG from Sandland. A bit of a shorter match, but still I thought interesting. But I mean, why did he mine there? I mean, probably because, well, he was actually worried someone might try to charge in there, go for the house. In that case, again, mines can help a bit. He obviously was lacking the force to sort of do anything. I mean, overall, I thought this was an interesting match. You saw some of the less used blitzkrieg bits, at least. Some stormtroopers used to deal with snipers. And again, also shows, you know, why you have to be careful with your snipers. And also, again, why you need infantry to guard them in some cases. And that was probably partly TourneyofMacaroni's problem. He actually at one stage had a very little infantry left, which rather allowed Sandland to surge forwards no matter what, because there was nothing to oppose him. And again, I think a medic station might have helped Tourney a bit with that. But also, I mean, note the mining up here really changed things up. It rather denied TourneyofMacaroni a rather important tool to really make things rotten for Sandland. And again, that was actually some rather nice thoughts then, mining. And again, on sort of how you play Semois. So nicely done there. Certainly a trick some players could learn from. Medic Run could of course help Sandland. Veterans, he did alright. Good use of his armor. Stu 42 in fact survived all the way through. Panzer 4 the same. Overall nice strategy for him. I mean, close to good strategy as well from Tourney, but again some things were lacking. He perhaps should have invested more in some riflemen earlier on. And again, medic station and perhaps some more Shermans or a tank destroyer. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own or provide some feedback in the comment. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.